Well, I'm not sure which order I'm making this video, but I thought I'd just show a couple things that I'm doing to this rig this time. My XMaxx, trying to make it last a little longer. So, it has a lot of gear problems. So I thought I'd show what I'm doing here. Maybe someone else has noticed this, maybe not, but I did. So maybe it can help the next person. As you can see, your differential, talking about this gear here, and slipping it in, I'd have to lift it up a little bit. Normally it pulls out, but I'm going to show you why it can't. This goes along with this gear. Once I get it put in, I'll show it to you when I put in. This gear is a lot bigger than the last ones I had. These ones I'm putting in looked exactly like vitiavons, but they're not. I just wanted to show you the difference between these two. See the size of the teeth? I don't know if you can see them. I'm not very good. Kinds of clips. This is like I can't think of it, a spring clip. This is like an E clip or C clip. And there's this one. This is what they call a keeper. And they look like these, except for it doesn't have these on here. Oh, it looks just like that. Just what I'm thinking right there. This is what you need. I think this is what Vitiavon gives you when you buy theirs. I bought mine on Amazon, and it came and it looks just exactly. It looks exactly like a Vitiavon's. Basically, the gear, the stamp, everything looks like it. But the difference is, I'll pull this back out. I'm going to show you. If you notice on your, I have them all both put in, so I can't show it. But you'll have to look real carefully, and you'll see that the keeper is right inside of there. You can see that's the open part. This is the keeper. It's clipped in. It can't slide. This thing can no more slide in and out. It can't jam up or slide around. It's stationary. I'm not sure about the shims yet, but here's the key, that most of the times you can put this all together and you can just take this in and out as you want, but you're not going to be able to because of that keeper is on there. But the only way it's going to go in, you have to lift this drive shaft just a smidge and get it up. Yeah, well, that's because that's the wrong one. So this one here is the smaller one. That one goes in there, and then it locks it in place. With that keeper in there, this can no longer move around. It can move a little bit. But once the other bearing is on there, as you can see, that is not going to move around. It actually does move back and forth a little bit. The little shim that may need to go back in here, but I'm going to keep looking at to make sure. But with, as you can see, the older gears, where did I put it? Even the older, the one I had on it, are still pretty good sized teeth. But you look at this one, the teeth are much bigger, and this one looks exactly like a Vitiavon. These and everything. So I put a keeper on it. I'm gonna test this, and I'm gonna come back and tell you if this is a good idea or not. Because the only issue I can see is that maybe that keeper will start spinning. No, it has to spin. It has to have a little bit of room up in that plastic right down in there. It has to have that, as you can see, it has to have that little bit of space right in there, and it's almost like built for it. The plastic is wedged out like it was probably put there just because of this reason, that somebody would put it, just like this pillow ball, this pillow bearing. If you haven't seen the story on that one, go back and check it, because this is a no-brainer. Everybody should have this in there. That's on your chingadilla here. that is holding, because all you're doing, like I said in my other one video, is just sitting there on these two little bearings. And all that torque is being put on there. This is going to wobble. So that pillow ball, it's GPM, and it's just a $12 item that everybody should have in there. But that's another story. As you can see, I've messed up and it I didn't get it, my spur gear moved, and it only ran on half of the throttle. Oh, I'm losing stuff. So anyway, I'll come back with you. Okay, now we're back into it now. I just got done putting the metal diff on. This is something that must be put on your Traxxas. Don't ride without it. This is the way this system is. It's weak. If you understand, there's 3 braking points, whereas the Arma, they only have 2, so you have actually 4. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's weaker this way. The way they have it, they have 3 different positions those bearings are held onto. It should be just one, kind of like the Armas. It's just one holding it, and it can't move. This here still will move around. That's why you must have the metal one on here. Anyway, that's 2 cents. And then, like I said, the bearing in there, I put that keeper in there, and I take it. I haven't put any shims in it, but I wiggle this all around, and it looks really tight, and I don't get much at all. The only thing I see is when you start going forward, you'll notice it wants to torque in. That's what with the helicoil, that's what they're going to do. They're going to want to pull that in place. When you go backwards, it's actually going to try, if you see it, it's trying to push it up and out of it. In other words, it's really not very good to go with reverse with these type of gears. I think it says it somewhere that it's not an ideal for reverse. So like I did on the other one, because there were the helix coils. I'm not saying that right, am I? Not helix. Can't think of it. But anyway, the slot cut. So it's holding it in there tight. Like I said, reverse. If you go in reverse, it's going to try pushing it back, and it's not. I would set the throttle down as low as you can and try not to take out of reverse. I know you ain't doing the air you want to do it, but that's not the thing I do. But anyway, it's in there. I'm going to grease it, and I'll put it back together. Let's see what you think. There's a little trick I was going to mention. I mentioned it a couple of places and nobody understood, I guess. Maybe I don't explain things very well sometimes, but I just have this little thing. When I grease up my differential, use one of these. This is for a chainsaw tip. On the end of the bar, you squeeze this and you squirt grease in the end of your tip of your chainsaw to grease the bearings in it. I find out, I ground off the tip a little bit, and I use this like this to put my grease in here. And I'll tell you one thing, it's a lot less messy than having to stick your fingers in the grease. And I just put a wad of it right on the teeth. And I always make a good circle around. And I do like grease. I believe in it. Some people don't, but I don't care. I haven't had problems once I grease these things up like I normally do. So now as you see, as it's going around, it's piling up in the back, and it's going to keep itself pressed against that back corner until it gets spread around enough. But once you got a lot of it in there, it's going to spread around. It's going to pile up in a place, and it's going to keep your gear greased. Like I said, this is really handy. No grease on the fingers. Just put it away. You have to fill it up a little more often, but that's kind of messy, but sure is a lot easier. You don't have to do all the messies. So anyway, I'm gonna go back to putting this thing back together. Bada bing, bada boom. That didn't sound right. Now you look at it, you can see I'm holding the spur gear, and the wiggle is just a teeny tiny little bit. That's just loosening up everything. That means that thing is sitting on there nice and solid. I think that's going to be the trick. Copy that. I was also make another point here. Maybe some people don't know this little trick. Maybe the newer people that getting these XMaxxes, you want a little build up. Here's one of the old tricks. If you see, you always have the metal bracket here that goes in there. And one of the whole ideas that you get another one of these. You have to order them. You have to buy several of them, but you just buy. You get this, and what you end up doing is you got to waller it out some. See inside of there. So what you have to do is you have to waller some stuff out. As you can see, I did on mine. I'll be doing this again because that thing is this ear is broken. I super glued it on, but it won't stay. So I'm going to replace this bulkhead anyway next time. So the whole idea is that what you want is you want a piece of metal bracket on both sides of this. It only comes with the one. And of course, once you do, you have these middle ones, and they're going to need a bolt in there too, I think, or mine fell out. I'm not quite sure about that one, but those on the outside, hold those in, of course, with the nut. I'm going to put one of those on. Okay, and you got both of those in there, and normally you put a nut. No, I don't remember pulling one out of there earlier. Original. I don't just step up. And that's even the bigger step up. You notice how big those teeth are on that gear. I thought that was big. This one fixed the cake. Way better than that one. But that's the one that's already in it. It has the keeper on it. Hard to see. You look at it right there. Get it moving around with it. That's it right there. It's the keeper in there. There we go.